Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Hey, Jan. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning.
Hey, Terry. Oh, good morning, Terry.
You want me, Gary?
Yeah, I was wondering, is someone I know on the roll call there is someone that's supposed to be representing Airstream Inc. Is anyone from Airstream Inc. going to be attending?
I don't know.
Okay, it's my understanding that they should be on your roll call.
They haven't been on my roll call since I've been doing this, but maybe they should be.
Yeah, I think if you look at the bylaws, they're supposed to be on that roll call.
Thank you for that update, Gary.
You're welcome. I'm assuming they get notified.
Morning, Mona. Morning, Eric. Hey, Sean.
Morning, everyone.
I'm in.
Morning, Fred.
I haven't turned the video on yet.
Usually it would just at least connect with whatever.
Yes,
it
good morning.
was.
This is usually the time when I hear that everyone has crazy weather throughout the United States. What's going on where everyone is?
Not here in Portland. And thank goodness, because I'm off to host with Florence my first caravan, and hers too.
I can't wait to hear about it, Terry. I'm signed up for 2027, so I'm so excited.
Oh, good. I'm not doing it then, but you're gonna have a great time. Morning, Rick. Morning, John. Hey, Jenny.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Terry, I guess it would help if I unmuted first.
I second that. Hi, Terry.
Hang on it.
We all have that issue. We forget to
Hey,
unmute.
Sean.
Hey, Mona.
Mhm.
I have a question for you. You've been on caravans, right?
Yes, 11 of them.
11 caravans.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you.
What?
I'll tell you why I asked that later.
Okay. I think I heard something about you going on a caravan, so I'm excited to hear.
I'm hosting a caravan starting tomorrow. Yes.
Is that the Explore Oregon?
Yeah.
I so want to do that. Yeah, you can call me later.
Okay.
I should probably modify that. I've done a few partial caravans, like Cajun, which was canceled partway through, and Southwest, which I joined at my convenience. So it hasn't always been a complete caravan.
So, Mona, are you who's gonna be the PIP for next year?
I think me. I just need them to say me, but Jim Cock is gonna query the PIPs. I don't, as far as I know, I don't think anyone is interested, as they weren't last time either. So
Are there term limits? I think are there term limits for PIPs?
I don't know. I don't know. But this one's what, 2.5 years-ish, and then whatever last time was. So we'll see. I'm enjoying it, and
Good.
hopefully a good
You're
contributor.
great at
Thank you.
having your perspective on the EC has been wonderful.
Thank you. Hi, Jeannie.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Jenny. How are the bricks selling?
Oh my gosh.
That good, huh?
Crazy. Yes, it's crazy. So I called the brick company yesterday just to kind of get an update on where we were at. And yesterday morning we had sold 36. And that's not all 4x8s. That's a lot of 8x8s.
Hmm.
And then I have four local clubs who've already said they're going to be doing the custom logo, $1,000 bricks. So we have 3 charter members at minimum 5,000 each. So this fundraiser is going very, very well. It's exciting.
Good.
I printed up more of the brochures and sent a personal letter to every local club president and region presidents, letting them know that we really hope that they want to include their presence with a custom logo in the brick campaign. And it's been really positive. I'm excited to hear so many people coming back and saying, we're doing it. Somebody I know who's probably on this Zoom call has told me they are doing 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. 8 bricks. So yay. Good stuff.
Well, I wasn't the 8, but I'm just going to tell you, it's awfully hard to say no when you hand write to each person and then you include the spouse. So I give you A+ for extra effort.
Oh, thanks, Sean. Thank you. Well, Mike probably got his own letter. You did a twofer.
We pass it across the pillow. That's right.
Oh my gosh. We got to talk about your love life. We got to fix that.
Yeah, but part of the pillow talk was Jenny, I think, which is really interesting.
That's a little, we're going to fix that.
Okay, so Sean, you asked about weather.
Yes.
As far as I look out on my AccuWeather, the temperature starts with a 9, and usually there's a 7 or an 8 after it.
Oh,
It's hot.
well, if I can make you feel any better, tomorrow it's supposed to be 95 in Napa. We don't get that kind of heat
No.
this time of year. So we've got a crazy little heat wave going on.
Yikes. Yeah, that's hot. That's not good for the grapes, is it?
The grapes love it. So just
Oh,
as long
okay.
as we keep them well hydrated, they should be okay.
Well, we also helped, what do I want to say, feed our monarch butterflies. We're near a national butterfly park. And so we have milkweed, a lot of milkweed. And there were probably 20 caterpillars, and they tend to adapt or attach their chrysalis in the most unique places, like under my flip-flop thong.
Oh,
On the fence. Yeah, they hang somewhere so the birds can't get them. So it's very interesting to watch Mother Nature in action.
So if misery loves company, I'm up in cold Canada where it's in the 90s, where it is going to be in the 90s today in their wine region. So Mona, you were here last year.
Where are you?
Are the Okanagan Valley.
Oh,
Yeah, you and Tim were up for the other wine. This is a Oregon one. Oh, and no, this is not Oregon. This is a Washington, BC joint rally today, but
yeah,
starting today, but it's hot. I had to stop at Costco and buy shorts.
That's my new favorite thing, is finding cheap clothing that looks cute. And you
Well, it's in the
started it.
50s and raining in Vancouver outside. So
Nice.
What are you doing in Vancouver?
On my way to Alaska.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
If it's really, really hot and the wine grapes like it, I think as good humans, we should just put our air conditioners on and suffer along because the grapes are important. They just really are.
Yes, that's
Thank
right.
you, Millie. Thank you. The wine industry is going through a tough time right now, so thank you for supporting us.
Love your industry. I do support you.
I may have supported you a little too much last night.
So Kathy, I hear you're going to be in my town in June at the balloon thing in Tigard.
I think I am. Yes.
Love to see you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll have to make that happen. I think I counted. I've got 12 trips between now and our end of the year for the Oregon Club. 12.
So Kathy, you mentioned British Columbia and our fun little trip up there. It was really a wonderful vacation. But we were actually profiled as we came across the border running Texas tags. The border guard asked if we had any weapons on us. No. Do you have any guns on you? No. Do you have any ammunition in your truck or your trailer? No. And Tim leans over and he goes, "We don't carry guns." And so the guy goes, "I think I need a picture of you." He didn't take one, but it was pretty funny. I was like, I think we just got profiled.
Yeah. We came through a tiny little border. I think I actually woke up the border guard when I pulled in. And it was, let's see, he had 3 questions. Where are you from? Where are you going? Do you carry any weapons? Goodbye. That was it. So I had boiled all my eggs, made egg salad. I had done all the stuff in prep and then for nothing. So.
Yeah. Was that through like the Chelan area when you went up or near there?
Oh, no, no, we were coming from way east. So I can't even remember what it was called, but it was way east, but little bitty.
One last border. Coming back from the polar bear caravan, leaving Manitoba early in the morning. The line to get into US was enormous, and there was one check station open semis had one, all other RVs, cars, everything packed. And Tim finds the phone number to that specific crossing, calls and says, "What the hell is going on with you guys? We've been sitting in line for an hour." And they said, "Well, we're short of staff." And he goes, "Well, then call them in. Where can I apply?" and I'll be darned, someone came out and opened up another place. But
good. Good for
you never know what's going to happen when we're traveling.
Well, that sounds like some bitch.
It is some bitch.
I can tell you my experience of crossing the border. It was down around Del Rio. We were pulling a boat and we pulled through there. And, I'm not used to that. And I pulled up and I said, "What are we supposed to do? We're from Arkansas. We don't do this." He says, "You can go."
So Eric, we have everybody but Marcia. Have you heard if she's coming? Maybe Eric is.
We'll wait until on the hour, just because I know that we have, probably 25 people watching. So I want to make sure that the members have a chance to, get online before we start on the air.
Okay, is Lori Grassi here? Yes.
Yeah, she is.
Okay, that's it except for Marcia.
This is the part where we all just look at all the little squares and say hello in our heads. Hello, everybody.
It's like Hollywood squares.
But not as funny, but we try.
We're dating ourselves when we say Hollywood squares.
Oh, no, it's back on. It's back on now.
Is it?
Is it really?
Yeah.
It'll never be the same without Paul Lind.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
they have a new
question.
version.
Do they? I'll have to check that out. Put it
Drew
on my-
Barrymore was in the middle last night.
Yeah, she's a regular.
Who's in the middle now?
Not as Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore.
I think she's trying to be Paul Lind of the 21st century.
Yeah, yeah.
Not going to work.
Agreed, John. I apologize for my hair that's everywhere. I have camping hair this morning. So
You're
That's okay,
forgiven.
John. We're just happy you're on the call.
glad to be here.
Is that
Usually
why
some
the
half
balloons
hair,
are in the
John.
background?
I'm sorry.
Is that why the balloons are in the background?
I'm actually at Bill Thomas Camper Sales in Wentzville, Missouri. I'm sure some of you know this place. We're on our way to Western Missouri to visit with our family.
It's a great place to overnight.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, really nice people there too. And a really fun place to shop.
Okay, everyone, we're gonna get going. We'll do a roll call. Terry, Marcia is almost certainly not going to make it, so we'll continue along without her. Okay, so please do the roll call. Thanks.
President Eric McHenry,
Present.
Vice President Millie O'Donnell.
She's trying to get back on. She fell off,
He fell off.
dropped off.
Okay, I'm here. Finance Director Alan Robb,
Here?
EC Member John Becker,
Here.
EC Member Jim Kopp. Did he fall? No, he's right there. Hi, Jim.
Okay, I'm sorry, there was an interruption in the background. Go ahead.
That's right. I just called your roll and you're here. I can see. EC Member Kathy Giese,
Present.
EC Member Jenny Schnettler,
Here.
EC Member Kendall Felder,
Here.
Past President Mona Watts,
Present.
Region 1 President Michael Junta,
Present.
Region 2 President Gary Russo,
Here.
Region 3 President Bob Ely,
Here.
Region 4 President Fred Keel,
Present.
Region 5 President John Deegan,
Present.
Region 6 President Jan Hevener,
Present.
Region 7 President Chris Olson,
Here.
Region 8 President Rick Eberson,
Here.
Region 9 President Tracy Elkins,
Present.
Region 10 President Florence Tremoni,
Present.
Region 11 President John Hawley,
Here.
Region 12 President Sean Bloom,
Present.
Parliamentarian Lori Grassi,
Morning.
Executive Director Lori Tilton. And she is there because I can see her. That's it. Everybody's here but Marcia. Eric.
Thank you. Someone had mentioned earlier asking about our Airstream representatives. As many of you know, we have a non-voting Airstream representative as sort of a trustee. For the last couple of years, the Airstream representative has not joined us. I don't believe she's joining today, but I have chatted with her and someone else from Airstream. So, okay, so I'm going to try to keep this to an hour. I promise that to you. We have, we have close to 30 non-IBT members watching, by the way, which is fantastic. They're interested in what we talk about. This is a special meeting, of course. You all know the reason for it. What I'm going to ask as we go through this process is two things. One is that I want everyone to keep their comments to 1 minute per person, and then we'll loop around again if we have to, right? But 1 minute is a fairly long time. I think we can all be concise in your comments if you have them. The second thing I'm going to ask is that I know there's been some discussion of trying to table a motion or amend it right away. I'd like to ask that we provide the professional courtesy, if you will, to your peers, the motion makers, to allow them to present their motion as they've shared it with the public and with you guys. And, given that we have so many members watching, I think those members are watching for us to have a discussion on the topics, not to have it go to a table for a later date. So that is my ask of all of you. Let's have the discussion now. And as I mentioned in some of my emails to you guys, whichever way the board decides to go on this motion, I'd like to ask that we conduct ourselves in the way we always do, which is a professional and courteous manner. And then when we're done, we move on, right? Our club is 70 years old as of this year. And I think that our club will continue regardless of how the board votes on it today. So with that, let me ask for the motion maker, John Becker, to make his motion.
Okay, I move that a new policy 17.0 be created as stated in Exhibit 2 of the amended motion that Eric sent to all of you.
Thanks, Don. Do we have a second?
I second.
All right, thank you, Sean. Okay, and then John, will you please, I'm going to ask John to read the motion language, and it may be appropriate at some point soon to us to put up that simple PowerPoint slide that shows the text of the motion, because that way people can make sure that they understand what they're looking at. So, John, why don't you read the purpose, background, and proposed language and the motion. And after you read it, I want someone to, I don't know if it's Lori or you, to put up the motion PowerPoint for us and the members to look at, since we've had some changes since it was posted 2 weeks ago.
Okay, the purpose, this motion is to establish a new ACI policy regarding the displaying of flags and the wearing of political attire. The background, at Airstream Club International events, we're committed to upholding a welcoming and respectful environment. Our code of ethics encourages us through our conduct to, quote, indicate to the public that membership in this organization is an assurance of our courtesy on the road and goodwill to all people and countries, to be ever mindful of what we say or print with respect to its effect on others of our diverse membership, so as to avoid disharmony and ill feelings among club members of differing ethnicities, religious beliefs, or orientation, and to dedicate ourselves to the work of cementing together the members of WBCCI in bonds of good fellowship and mutual understanding. The club has no official policy for what type of flags can be flown or what political attire is appropriate at a club event. At the 2024 Sedalia International Rally, a policy regarding flags was established, but just for that rally. The policy and its enforcement was generally appreciated by rally participants. Other organizations have established similar guidelines, e.g., or for example, the display of the Confederate flag is prohibited at NASCAR events. At NFL games, banners, signs, and flags must be football related and contain no commercial messages, logos, political endorsements, and no offensive or obscene language. Some RV park policies include a ban on political flags. Without a policy, ACI event organizers have no guidance for what is allowed, and no expectations have been set for event participants. This has led to misunderstandings and in some cases rancor among participants. We want a policy that aligns with our values and ensures everyone is welcome. The Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution protects against government restrictions on freedom of speech. It applies to all levels of government, but not to private entities. Private businesses and clubs can set their own rules for expression. The policies have been reviewed by the ACI attorney. The club is within its legal rights to adopt this policy. I think I would also like to add, and here's the policy language, Policy 17.0, flags and political attire. This policy applies to all ACI events, including but not limited to the international rally, region rallies, local club rallies, national event rallies, caravans, etc. To preserve the spirit of unity and camaraderie as outlined in our Constitution, flags, banners, or attire that display campaign or political candidate/party and slogans are prohibited. And I just would like to remind everybody, I know Eric sent out an email to everyone with amended language in speaking with many of you, as well as speaking with other club members who contacted me or contacted Sean. The language in the motion is very different from what was originally put into the meeting book 2 weeks ago. And that is as a response to discussions that we've had with all of you. I'd also, I think, and then since I do get a chance just to make some additional comments, a lot of what the new policy language is amended. A lot of it is along the lines of, thank you, John Holly, of what John Holly suggested. I've had a lot of people ask, why are we doing this? Are we rushing this? We have had incidents at rallies of offensive flags flown or police being called. We're entering the peak of the camping and the rally season. This has been something, I was not party to all these discussions, but it is something that's been discussed at the region presidents' meetings for several months. And I think I'd like to stress, we're campaigning, we're camping, not campaigning. And our intention is not to create division. All members are welcome in the club, and we want to foster inclusion. Much as I say at the beginning of the caravan I lead, this event, either caravan or our club rallies, should be an oasis, and basically I'm just asking club members to leave things at home for what is one weekend a month for most club members. Right now, there isn't guidance for rally hosts. There isn't anything for them to fall back on. Like we have policies on pets, we have guidance for prayers and blessings, and we're asking for approval of this motion so that the people who are taking the time to lead our events have some guidance and have something to fall back on that they can use if they need to. So those are my comments.
Thanks, Sean. Lori or Sean, or can one of you put up the motion on the screen, particularly for people that are watching?
Yeah, I have it, Eric. Everybody should be able to see it now.
I'll just leave it here for about a minute so that people can read it. Lori, just can you just, as people are reading this, how close is this to what was used in Sedalia and what is right now on the sign up for York?
This is very close to what we used. The committee, because of some of the feedback from the exit surveys for those who were very unhappy and unfortunately had a bad experience, being a first time around or international dealing with some of this. So this is spot on. I think we may be expanding it just a little bit. And we are producing what we're calling a camp etiquette type, like you do at any other campground you roll into, you get that piece of paper that says, here's our rules. And we're going to make sure this is reiterated, and asking people, as John said, you can believe what you want to believe, but please, we want to make this like a Disneyland, right? You roll in and it's happy go lucky and rainbows and sunshine for everybody for the week. I mean, that's our goal.
And also, just Lori, just to give some more context, what was the experience of the rally committee in Sedalia, and have you had any pushback on York for the IR policy?
No, actually, we've been thanked more than we've had pushback. People, I've seen a lot of comments that they would prefer to not have political attire, political flags visible, just because it is such a emotional topic for so many, and they're very uncomfortable dealing with it. Yes, folks can look the other way, but unfortunately, it just puts a bad damper. And my concern is, as most of you know, if you look at, for one person that complains, 26 do not complain and they just walk away. And I feel like we need to support inclusion. I think we just need to be respectful, follow the creed, and have a tool for our rally hosts to have something to fall back on when they do have these situations.
Okay, thank you, Lori. Okay, let's unshare this, and I need to go to CBL chair. Jim, if you could just kind of weigh in on your review of it, please, from your position of CBL chair.
You would say that again, please?
Can you just weigh in on the motion from your perspective as CBL chair?
Sure, thank you. Jim Cox, CBL chair and executive council member. The CBL committee has discussed this. The policy originally came out, and I apologize, we missed that it came out at 17.0. That's a small error. It would be 17.1. We don't support .0 endings on policies, but also we think that this might go better in another spot in the policy, but that doesn't change at all the language or the impact. The only other comment I'll make is that, unlike the rally policy, this policy does not mention signage, whereas the rally policy includes campaign signs and stickers. That might make this policy even more difficult, but just a small point. Otherwise, the CBL committee suggests that we might consider that this doesn't apply to all ACI events. We don't need that statement necessarily because that's true for all of our policies. They apply to ACI events. That's our whole comment. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim. And next, I'm going to go into questions to the motion makers from the board. But first, I just want to acknowledge the fact that we got roughly 15 or 16 comments from the membership, which may not seem like a lot, given that we have 18,000 members. But the comments were very thoughtful. There's a summary that was sent out to the board of the comments. The board has the actual verbatim comments, and also on our member-facing site, which is airstreamclub.org/IBT, we've posted a summary of those member comments. And so thank you to the members who took the time to express your thoughts. I know for a fact, and John and Sean have alluded to this, that some of those comments have really affected how they've redrafted the motion. So thank you for taking the time to do that. Okay, so we'll go to board comments, 1 minute per person, and then if you still have more stuff to do, we'll loop back around. Okay, and I see Sean first and then Terry.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I want to just reiterate what you just said. We received a lot of calls, emails, texts, and I'm very thankful to everyone who weighed in. Some of the conversations, emails were very thoughtful, and I thank all of you for that. I will say in my region, this is an issue. I have spoken with many of the presidents, and I understand it may not be an issue in their region, but it is in mine. In fact, one of our larger clubs has amended their bylaws to deal with this issue. They have put political affiliations into the code of ethics. I have received calls from members indicating that they will not register for a region rally that's going to be held in October unless we deal with this issue. So our intention was to address a difficult topic and provide our rally hosts with support. We've heard this a few times already. Rallies are for camping, not campaigning. And our intention was not to create division. All members are welcome. Let's have fun at our rallies. And one final comment, none of this was meant to be a policing event. We really wanted to give our rally leaders support. So like the pet policy, if it is an issue at a rally, they have support to be able to draw back on. So I thank you all for considering this important amended motion, and thank you.
That was almost perfectly 1 minute, but no surprise for a CPA. So excellent job. Thank you for leading us off. Sean, okay, next is Terry and then Kathy.
I am very much in support of this. I've seen how unpleasant this can be at a rally. And my only concern here is I love that we're giving rally hosts some support here, but what happens if somebody wears a Biden-Harris t-shirt and some Trump supporter comes and says, you passed this in May that it's prohibited, take it off. And the Biden-Harris person says, no, I'm not taking it off. What then? That's my concern. I mean, I want to support our rally hosts as well, but I need to know what we have in mind in the way of enforcement, if anything.
I'm going to let everyone do their comments and then ask that the motion makers kind of, gather them all together and respond to all of them at the same time. Okay, Kathy and then Millie.
I recently had the privilege of watching the documentary Illumina. And one thing that really stuck with me was Wally Bine saying, we are ambassadors of goodwill. And I think this supports that goodwill. We need to be welcoming and respectful. And if NASCAR and the NFL thinks it's necessary, I think it's just, we're just waiting for something to happen if we don't act on this. Also, always want to support our hosts and our wagon masters. I've seen on social media some people have had some really bad experiences during caravans. And I know I've heard stories also from rallies as well. We're leaving these hosts, these valuable hosts and wagon masters hanging out there if we don't offer them a tool. And that's my comment. I'm supporting it.
Thanks, Kathy. Millie and then Jim.
Thank you, Eric, and thank you to the motion makers. I respect the work that goes into making any motion, especially one that can be volatile such as this. I have also heard from lots of members, and I'm overwhelmingly hearing a resounding no for this motion. I'm a no on it for a number of reasons. When you mention the policing of it, that's virtually impossible. I know I don't want to do it. I'm sure you don't want to do it. I have no problem walking up to a person and saying, hey, your FU flag's really offensive. We've got kids here at this rally. Would you mind taking it down in a friendly motion? But if they say no, I'm not hooking their truck up to their trailer and forcing them to leave. I physically can't. I think it doesn't have any teeth. And I don't think we should be in the business of using those teeth. We are so blessed to be in a partnership with Airstream Inc. And I know that they need to remain extremely neutral. They're trying to sell a product to everyone, no matter who they support or how they feel. And if we start going down political paths, I see it as a real detriment to our relationship with them. And the word political is a firestorm. Who gets to decide what's political? Is the rainbow flag political? Is my trans
Okay,
support flag?
your time, Millie, is around a minute and a
Okay,
half now.
see the point.
All right, thanks, Millie. Jim?
Yes, I've got two 30-second comments. The first one's as CBL chair. We recommend against changing your code of ethics. There's one code of ethics for the club. It's in the front of the Constitution and bylaws. But that's all I'm gonna say about the code of ethics. Now I'm gonna change to my EC hat. As a member of the club, as an EC member, we have experienced problems at our rallies with this. It would be good to have something to support our hosts and our leaders at the events. Thank you.
Jim. Okay, there's got to be more comments from the board before. And once we finish our comments, I'll have a comment myself. Once you all finish, then we'll go to a vote. So any last comments or questions for the motion? Oh, great, Mona.
Well, I'd say the EC knows where I stand. It's a difficult decision. I too would prefer to have an apolitical experience at rallies. But I feel it's outside our boundary to tell people what to wear. And I'm wearing girls' toe too, so that could be a problem, but not really. I fear our new members watching us and wondering, and someone on a very extensive thread commented, did I make a mistake joining this club? And did I make a mistake signing up for this rally? And it just gutted me. And I, sadly, as much as I admire the work that Sean and John have put into this, I think we need to just take a breather, take some time and work on something that everyone can embrace or at least support. So that's my 2 cents. I would be no.
Thanks, Mona. John, and then Jenny.
I think you said me. Is that right, Eric?
Yes, sir.
Just one comment. There is a grievance procedure to follow if in fact we do have a situation of somebody being out of step with the policy. Secondly, as a rally host, I personally don't have a problem walking up to anybody and suggesting that they change something or take their flag down. So I think that we, as leaders, have that right and responsibility. I will leave my other comments for later on in the session.
All right, thanks, John. Jenny, and then Jan.
Thank you. Actually, I kind of see we have two separate issues here. I think flying a flag attached to your Airstream is a very different animal than wearing clothing or attire. And I think the flag issue is pretty straightforward. You're representing the brand, you're representing the club. And so political flags may not be appropriate there, but to try to tell somebody, take off that hat, take off that shirt, we start to, I think, tread too far. So as this bill is written, excuse me, as this motion is written, I don't support it because I don't think that it's kind of undefined, and it's undefined as to what happens if. Another person brought up the point of training, that this really should fall more in the auspices of training and giving a clear understanding of what does the creed say in regard to a rally, and how does the rally leader or event leader focus that as our attention, rather than a policy that right now is a bit ambiguous. And as it's written, I don't support it. I do support looking into this a lot more, because it has created so many.
Time. Sorry, I got to be equal. Okay, thank you. Next, we're trying to keep your 1 minute, please. Jan, and then Sean, and then John.
As Airstreamers, we strive to be good neighbors and promote harmony, friendship, and unity. We also encourage growth within our club by creating a welcoming atmosphere. And I have to say, I don't think this is a welcoming atmosphere. If it sets people off at the first thing that comes to them, they're going to tell us what we can or can't do. And even though that's a broad statement I just made, that's what they're going to say. And I just cannot support this motion. I just feel like either more time or table it. We need to work this out. Thank you.
Jan, John, Jan. Okay, Sean, and then John.
I just wanted to add something to what John Deegan just said. He's right. We as leaders have the right and the power, quite frankly, to ask someone to remove a flag or potentially remove a piece of attire. But I'm thinking of our rally leaders, and many of them feel very uncomfortable doing that. They have nothing to rely on. Unfortunately, I had an incident at a March rally, and this person would not take down a flag. And the rally leader was at a loss and felt like they had no support. So I'm not thinking for myself, because I too share John's feeling. It's relatively easy for me to go up to someone, but it's probably not for most of our rally leaders. And we have a really hard time getting rally hosts. So that's it. Thank you.
John.
I appreciate what Mona said, and I especially appreciate what Kendall wrote, that we have a responsibility, and we have such a wild range of people with different ideology and religious and political and everything. It's going to hit us wherever we go. I think that it's unfortunate that we have to even do this, but because of the current scope of things, I feel that something is necessary, and what has been written probably would be best for the protection of our leaders, of our hosts, of our caravan leaders and so forth, to at least have a policy that they can turn to and not take something out of the blue. I've talked with my officers, my presidents, and we support this new motion. Thanks.
Thanks, John. Tracy?
As everyone has said, I so greatly appreciate all that the motion makers have put into this. They have tried every way that they can to find something that takes some of the sting out of the language, and definitely is appreciated. I will tell you that in Region 9, I have heard from more people voluntarily on this issue than we did on the dues increase, where I actively went out and sought every member's input. This, we've kind of let folks come to us, and we've heard from far more. Region 9, which is most of Texas and Oklahoma, simply doesn't support this type of restriction in the policy, but we so appreciate what everyone has done to try to work through it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Florence.
Thank you, Eric. Good morning. I think, more times than not, we have common ground with the people we rally with. And more times than not, I think people are reasonable. Sometimes they will refuse to take a flag down. And I don't think it makes this policy void or ineffective if we can't necessarily police it in the word, in the true meaning of that. I think it's important for this body to come to a decision on this and not to table this today. And just in case something bad happens. And so I will support this. There might be some tweaks perhaps coming. I don't know if it would make it easier if a tire was not part of the policy. I think flags attached to our rigs say something about the club as a whole. So like I say, I will support this, and I don't have a problem with not being able to police it, because people who don't want to do this, they won't. We won't be able to change their minds no matter what.
Thanks, Florence. Other questions, questions or comments from the board? Okay, John?
Yeah, I just want to just respond a little bit to what, let me lower my hand, to what John said and others. You know, as a caravan leader, this at the end of the summer, we're going to take 58 people around the Southwest for more than 7 weeks. And it'll be the 4th time I've made this trip. I can guarantee you that there's going to be an issue. And I've just found in general, and we had an issue where somebody was flying a political flag, but a private conversation. And even though the person didn't think it was political, I said, I know you don't think that it's going to be, but it's perceived that way by others. And they then didn't fly it. I have to deal with members who sometimes have too much to drink and may be abusive because of that. And again, the private conversation works in part because I have either the code of ethics or all the other policies behind me that the club has. And I found, I think as somebody else said, you know, most people are reasonable. And if you point something out to somebody, not in public, but in a private conversation, we're all leaders, we can do this. And then it just helps to calm the waters. And so that's, I think, anybody who's, and as a rally host, I understand if it's a weekend rally and somebody won't do something, you can't get them to do something, the rally will be over before you can do anything with the grievance process or anything else. And then you have to decide as a leader, is it something I'm going to raise after the fact? Caravan is a little bit different in some ways. I have an advantage in that if somebody really was a problem, this happens rarely, but people have been asked to leave caravans. And the advantage I have is, quite frankly, I can cancel all their ongoing reservations if this was that big an issue. But usually I found that people are reasonable. And when they have a chance to think and are talked to in private, they change their behavior. So, and that's what I would say about enforcement, et cetera. And
Was
I think
any other
Lori's got a
questions you wanted to answer as motion maker from your peers that came up?
I think the biggest one was, when Terry asked about enforcement and how do we enforce this, and I think it's no different than, if somebody is continually bringing a pet to a group meal that is against the guidance on the caravan, they're going to get talked to, eventually a written warning, but eventually, the behavior just either needs to change or they're not going to continue with the event.
See Lori's hand up. Lori?
Yeah, I just want to, I'm listening to everybody, and, unfortunately, it's the few that are not reasonable that causes the biggest issues that we have. Running a rally, I've had to speak to people about bringing flags down. They'll bring the flag down, but then they display it in their window, just because they still want to be that kind of person, which is unfortunate. So I think that's one thing we have to think about as a group of the ones that are not reasonable, because I have had to call a sheriff into a rally. I've had to ask people to leave a rally because they will not put their dogs on a leash. That is uncomfortable. I mean, it's just not a fun situation. And unfortunately, when we have to do that with that one person, it filters through and others see it and they hear it. So I just think we need to make sure we come up with some tool to support our leaders and our host for the exception, not the norm of most people are reasonable. That's it, Eric.
Thanks, Lori. Okay, before I go back to you, Mona, has anyone else on the board want to comment that hasn't had a chance to comment yet? Okay, Mona. So you're muted.
I was trying to find it. It was running away from me. It was trying to keep me quiet. Those of you on the EC received quite a passionate email from me. It came from my heart and my care for this club and for our members. It spoke about the three things. It referenced the three things that normally in social gatherings you don't talk about: politics, religion, and money. And we're talking about one of those three. Everyone has their own life when they're away from rallies, and they can celebrate and support and rally for or against anyone in their private life. When you come to a rally, it's a different environment. You can still be you, but you just have to tone it down a bit. And I think if there's a way for us to suggest or to request people to a conciliatory effort is what I think we need to do. I searched the internet, every RV club I could find. Do I only have a minute?
Time. Yeah.
Okay. So no for-profit caravan has a political policy. No private Tiffin, Newmar, no policy on politics. Escapees refers political challenges to their code of ethics. So that's all I have to say. I just wish we could find a way. See you, bye.
Okay, one last chance, and I'd like to share some comments before we go to vote. But any other comments from the board? Okay, Lori, can you put back up the motion just so that we can all have that fresh in our mind, the exact language? I think one of the things that as I reviewed the comments that came in for our members, and depending on when you all got your comments from your members, it was referring to the earlier policy. So I just want to make sure my comments are reflected on this one. First, as you guys know, I've had the opportunity and the blessing to travel all over the U.S. In the last 2 to 3 years or 4 years or so. And it's been wonderful. That said, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that we are seeing more interest and acceptance in displaying political flags in our events. And it's simply because in the U.S., I think it'd be hard to argue that we are not extremely divided on our politics at this time in our countries. So we have other policies. You know, we have policies around pets. We have policies, we had COVID policies. We have policies on what type of name badges were. And so we do have policies that we require for people to join in our community at our events. And it is my hope that we give something to the local club leaders that they can point to. Because right now, and I've been there, by the way, I've been at a rally where the local host, I think she had done maybe 2 hostings before, and she had one person in this year saying, hey, that guy can't have his flag up. And she had someone in this year saying, well, tell me where it says that. And she's like, I don't know what to do. She is not going to go talk to this person on the side. I would do it. Probably most of you, from your positions of experience and power and confidence, will do it. But most people in that situation will just turn their eye and walk away. And my great fear is that for our members like us who are extremely vested in our club, Laura, you can pull it down now. We will stay. We'll talk to the people in private. But for the new member that walks up and sees political flags at a rally, they are not going to be interested. Someone brought up Airstream, and Airstream is non-committal on this one with respect to us. What Airstream does recognize, though, is that there is a lot of very divisive chatter on our community forum site. It doesn't matter if it's membership directory, it doesn't matter if it's dues, it doesn't matter if it's flags, it doesn't matter if that stuff is off-putting. So I think to us also, because while the comments are fantastic, there are sort of two sets of people that come to our community Facebook page. Some are the people like us who really want to talk about this stuff, and it's great. But there's other people that come to that page that, hey, I just bought an Airstream. I want to know what type of tires to put on my truck, right? They are turned off by that. So when Airstream Inc. sees the members that they're bringing to us through the Explorer program, see that type of chatter on this place they just encourage them to join, that's a problem. I think that this is something that and we've talked about this before as a group. Is there some way that we can separate those conversations so that it's intended for people who want to share feedback and talk about issues that are club-related issues, insider issues, versus people that just want to enjoy their Airstreams and want to know where to camp in Yellowstone? So I think if we could solve that, that would go a long way. I will also tell you that I just came back from Camp Airstream, Yellowstone. I can guarantee you that the last thing Airstream Inc. would want to see at Camp Yellowstone is someone pulling up and seeing a bunch of political flags flying from their trailers. I can guarantee you. That said, they can enforce it better than we can. So it's a real deal. At this point, it's not a concern to our relationship with Airstream. As you guys probably know, I've been at the forefront of trying to nurture that. I'm very aware, very cognizant of it. So Airstream understands this is the way the social media goes. In Airstream's side, they actually can hide comments more than we can on our social media. So that's what they do, by the way, or they block people that are offensive. So anyway, those are my comments. I'm for something. I think that nothing will ever be perfect. I think that we could study this forever, but nothing's perfect. I will go back to what I said earlier, that it has worked. It worked at Sedalia, where you could argue our international rally is probably one of the places that will have the most diverse and largest number of Airstreams at. And that policy worked at Sedalia, as Lori said, with very little issues. Our members were very positive because they also did not want to come to a rally with 1,000 Airstreams and seeing a bunch of political flags from them. They were really happy to see that. And I suspect that would be the same for York. Okay, I've captured all the comments. We're past comment time. We're going to go to a vote now. I'm going to assume that this is not going to be unanimous. So I'm going to ask that Terry, we do a roll call vote, please. Terry, you're muted. And Gary, I saw your hand, but we already closed. I asked multiple times for people to comment and no one had. So, and I told people I'm going to go right to vote after mine. So we're going to vote right now. Terry, let's do a roll call vote.
Region 11 President John Hawley.
You're muted, John.
Sorry, yes.
Thank you. Region 6 President Jan Hevener.
No.
Past President Mona Watts.
No.
EC Member John Becker.
Yes.
Region 3 President Bob Ely.
No.
EC Member Jenny Schnettler.
No.
Vice President Millie O'Donnell.
No.
Region 4 President Fred Keel.
No.
Region 7 President Chris Olson.
Yes.
Region 10 President Florence Tremoni.
Yes.
EC Member Kathy Giese.
Yes.
EC Member Kendall Felder.
No.
Region 9 President Tracy Elkins.
No.
Region 8 President Rick Everson.
No.
EC Member Jim Cock.
Yes.
Region 2 President Gary Russo.
No.
Region 5 President John Deegan.
Yes.
Region 12 President Sean Bloom.
Yes.
I vote yes. Region 1 President Michael Junta.
just make a quick comment, then I'm going to say something. I feel
Michael, straight to vote. We're in the voting process now. We're past comments.
then no.
Thank you. The motion fails.
Okay. Thank you guys for your time. As I said, I really appreciate all your time working on this. Thank you for taking the 45 minutes out of your morning this morning. Thank you for well, it's probably not surprised, but thank you for taking this very professionally, giving very well thought out comments, very good feedback. Really appreciate this. Now, at least our members can understand that at least at this point, there is no policy adopted by the IBT. And so that particular rally person will just say, you all can resolve it separately. So I do want to thank you for your time. I appreciate that. Y'all have a good rest of the day. All right, take care. Bye-bye.